something in the background. I was going my PC, had it running, everything, and I was like, all right, I got to get to the trash man. He's out there. And then I come back, and then
we are live. Hey, good morning, everybody. You just heard about K-Mega's trash problem, and just running a few minutes for. Hey, listen, guess what, folks? Real life gets in the way of video games, and that is perfectly okay. Good morning. Welcome to this week's Breakfast with Boom. I'm your host, MrBooMStickXL, and on the eve of XO18, I have put together a list of topics that, guess what? I'm going to toot my own horn. People will be talking about until next episode. But you know what? With that said, I also have assembled a fantastic panel to help me break down these amazing topics. So let me introduce this all-star cast. First up, showrunner of the GRG podcast, panel member of the next podcast, and champion of the best gameplay on last week's show, someone who considers the West Coast the best coast, my good friend K-Mega. Welcome to the show, dude.
Woo! I like that, man. You know what? You giving Bot a run for his money for best introduction, man. That's
you know what? I like to do it. I heard what he said about the wrestlers. I grew up in the 80s, but you know what? I like to try and make it interesting. I want to put my guest at the, I want to bring you guys up, and I want everyone to know who you are. So I'm glad that you're digging it.
Oh yeah, man. No, it was good stuff, man. Glad to be here. You know what I'm saying? That it was starting to be a disaster, but we all got it here. And so, man, it's good to be here, man. I've been paying attention, when I can, because usually I'm at work, but since I'm on vacation now, man, I'm just really glad to be here and to talk about topics, especially on XO Eve, man. I'm ready. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm super stoked. And you know what? Making his first appearance on Breakfast with Boom, community newcomer who knows a thing or three about gaming, someone that also loves gaming and making videos about them, a rising star in the YouTube community, someone that I was very impressed with on his XO predictions video, Hyena Den. Welcome to the show, dude.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm really excited to be guesting on Breakfast with Boom. I think It's going to be a really awesome time. And I do agree with the sentiment that the West Coast is the best coast.
Nice. Mooch and I might disagree with you, but you know what? We'll talk off air about that. Making his second appearance on Breakfast with Boom, and I hope that his mic will eventually be fixed. Everyone in the community knows him as the caller on MNC mornings, known as the G-Man Jerky Boy, fellow New Yorker and outspoken but friendly community member, G-Man 1172. I don't know if he got his mic situated. When he does, I'm sure we will hear that voice that everyone knows and loves. But you know what? Here's the thing. We are on the eve of something special, okay? And it's not going to be our first topic. Our first topic is really interesting, and I really want to get the panel members, once we start breaking it down, what we're looking, towards into 2019. But on the eve of XO18, K-Mega, you sound excited. I'm excited. Hyena Den's excited. I actually think the entire world is excited. I've heard people say, hey, Boom, temper your expectations. You're going to be let down. Well, guess what? My glass is always half full. So even if they shit the bed by some chance, and I doubt that's going to happen, I'm going to find something to like about the show. Now, and granted, I've been very vocal about giving Microsoft the business because they're my favorite console, and I want them to do well, because when they do well, we as gamers do well. But you know what? I'm going to stop right there because I don't want to really kind of, just shoot the load, so to speak, so early on XO, because that's going to be a big topic today. I want to go into the first topic. Now, if you follow me, I've been gaming for well over 40 years, and I'm proud to say that. And Hyena and I were talking about that even though I'm usually the older guy in the room, some people might take that as a negative. I take it as a positive because I've had the real privilege to watch this industry go from dots and sticks using paddles on my Atari 2600 playing Circus Atari, which was horrendous, to what we're playing now. Okay? But that's not the topic. The topic is this. Every year, as a YouTuber personality, as a gamer, as someone who tweets like I do on Twitter, you hear me, you'll probably have heard me say in the past, wow, year XX was the best year in gaming, right? I mean, I think everyone says that because each year that passes, we get memorable titles, some that are considered generational exclamation points. We had that with The Witcher 3. We have that now with Red Dead Redemption 2. In my opinion, I think we have that with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I think that game is fantastic. But we're not here to talk about 2018 because we're going to be talking about that in the next month or so with Game of the Year this, Best Racer that, Most Impressive this, Most Disappointing that. But I want to talk about 2019. And the reason why I bring it up and the reason why no one's talking about this is because people are afraid to. Quite frankly, we're all going to be freaking poor. And I have suggested to many folks, including my wife and her sisters, my brother Neo Mento, and a few other friends, please, for the love of Jehovah, don't buy me anything physical. I just want gift cards because otherwise I'm gonna have to really be on the corner selling myself like a hooker in GTA 5, and I don't want to do it. So before I get the panel's opinion on 2019, I kind of just want to open this window for the listeners on what we can expect and what we know so far. So for January 2019, this is what we got. And I'm covering everything. So if you don't like Nintendo, cover your ears. You don't like PC, cover your ears. Everyone is involved in this list. You have Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Tales of Vesper Definitive Edition, Onimusha, that's going to be one of my favorite ones, Onimusha Warlords, Ace Combat 7, Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes for the Switch, Resident Evil 2, Boom's Game of the Year 2019, and Kingdom Hearts 3. That's just January. So let's move on to February. Trials Rising, Dead or Alive 6, Jump Force, Anthem, Crackdown, Metro Exodus, Anno 1800, and Left Alive for the PS4, which looks dope. March, Devil May Cry 5, The Division 2, Sergio Shadows Die Twice, and The Sinking City. April, Days Gone. May, Team Sonic Racing, which looks absolutely stunning. Okay, that's what we know. My wallet in my pocket is throbbing like a heartbeat because it's like, how the hell is someone that supports all three consoles proudly can afford these kind of games? K-Meg, I want to go to you first on this, dude. 2018, fantastic for gaming, and we're still going. 2019, from what we know, man, people might have to get second jobs or the divorce rate might go up. What do you think about this?
I think all of the latter. I mean, I think that like you said, I think 2018 was one hell of a year, especially going into and the year is not even over yet. We still have a few more games that's still going to wet the palate. You got Fallout 76. You got Dark Stalkers 3. You got Just Cause 3. You know what I'm saying? Battlefield 5 that's available on EA Access right now. So I know that I spent well over $400 and some between September and October because I bought Ultimate Editions.
Yes. And
you know what I'm saying? And I have Odyssey, but I haven't had a chance to really get to it because Tomb Raider was so great. Other games was, and I know we're talking about 2019, but I just wanted to 2018 just gave you a prelude of what's going to happen, the true tsunami of what's really about to happen next year. And it's starting early, something that we as gamers, like, I don't know exactly how old you are, but I mean, I'm
48. I'm 48.
Yeah. And I'm 43. So I know, I'm a root gamer myself. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And I've never in my entire life as being a gamer, pretty much ever seen anything like what's coming at us, and it's a testament to just the momentum is here. Gaming is fresh, is good on all platforms, regardless of whatever some fanboys may try to allude to, but it's great everywhere. And we're not even talking about mobile games. We're not talking about PC games. We're just talking about what's coming on the consoles. And it's insane. Like for me, I'm a huge fighting fan. That's my favorite genre.
I know. Yep.
Yeah, next to RPGs actually. And it's like, wow. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like Dead or Alive 6, Jump Force, and I'm a huge Division fan. That's day one. Anthem, I'm very excited about that. It's like,
yes,
it's just thank God for Game Pass for what we can get. You know what I'm saying, on the Xbox side. Hopefully that PlayStation might try to get into the fold and want to have a service of their own, which we know that they have PlayStation Now, but maybe they will try to increase PlayStation Now by trying to add their version of Game Pass. Because if it's like you said, man, it's going to be a damn shame on the wallet, man. I mean, if I'm trying to get ready to be prepared for E3 next year. That's not cheap. So saying you got to put it all the way down. So man, you got to just got to have to pick and choose, and then probably just wait until what the big heavy hitters is going to be, because we are assuming that there's still Ori and the Will-O-Wisp. There's Gears 5 that's supposed to be alluded to be coming out at the end of the year. Like it's going to be even a strong end of the year as well, because we know that there's going to be another COD, there's going to be whatever else that's coming down the line. So I mean, I got to get Jump Force. I already got Dead or Alive 6 pre-ordered, and I already got The Division pre-ordered already. So if anything goes bad, I go broke, lose my job or something, at least I got those 2 games ready. So man, I'm excited for it, and I mean, yeah, it's just a testament of how strong gaming has become.
Well, listen, real quick before I move on to Hyena, I just have to pay the bills. Smitty Smith, real cool dude. Thank you for the $10 super chat. He says, hello, esteemed panel, moderators, and chat. Do you know what time XO18 will be on the East Coast? I believe it's 4 p.m. It's 4 to 6 here on the East Coast.
Yeah. Somebody asked me on the chat, on my Xbox Live, out of the blue, like, what time is so this is for anybody out there that's in Sweden, what time the XO event is going to be in Sweden time? And I had to look that up, but it's 2:30 a.m. So anybody in Sweden, yes, 2:30 a.m.
Wow. Well, listen, you know what? Fans, listen, K-Mega, you're one of them. You're an older dude like me, not as old, obviously, but you stood in line past midnight. You stood in line for games like GTA and system launches. So if you're a diehard gamer, you will set your clock. You will make sure you're up. You'll have your Red Bull. You have your coffee. You might have your Red Bull coffee, and you'll be good to go. But Hyena, I got to get your opinion on this. Look, 2019. Forget the money. Let's just forget the money. Let's just talk facts here, because I know K-Mega loves saying that, right? Facts, right? And it's the truth. We live in facts. 2019 already, just what we know, could be considered in some years the best year in gaming. I mean, and we only know a few. Like there's still tons of surprises. We don't know what Microsoft is doing. Sony says, well, we only have Days Gone and Dreams. I don't believe that for a second. I think they're gonna surprise us. Nintendo, they're the you can't really tell what they're gonna do. I mean, they could be pulling rabbits out of the hat. We don't know if we're getting Metroid. So to say that this list is not only impressive but expensive, I want to get your take on this. First of all, are you a gamer that supports multiple consoles?
I do not. And
okay, so you're safe on some parts.
Yeah. I mean, I have a long reasoning for that, but I won't get into that. Like you and K-Mega have alluded to, Game Pass for this year and especially for next year is going to be a godsend to gamers, especially to me. My Game Pass doesn't run out until I think February, and I'm going to have to renew it again. There's a lot of good games that we know so far that are slated for 2019 that are going to hit the shelves very soon here. I am very, very excited for Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice,
yes,
DMC5, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, of course, Crackdown 3, and Gears of War 5. And half of those games, are going to be in Game Pass, so it'll save me quite a bit of money, and just enjoy the games for what they're worth. Yeah, it's going to be really crazy. 2018 was definitely a hell of a year in terms of games, and the year's still not up yet. We still have games that need to come out. Hopefully we're going to get some more news here in the next day or two. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how the latter half of 2019 unfolds as well, because usually with Generations, some of the best games come out towards the latter half of that
yes gen. Yeah, absolutely.
And with the exception of something like Rise Son of Rome, which I thought was a fantastic game, there are a lot of games that end up being their absolute best at the end of the gen, and I'm really excited to see how these all unfold out, and what I'm going to be buying next.
Yes, it's very exciting and also scary at the same time. G-Man, I think we hear you finally. You got your mic set up. There he is.
Yeah.
G-Man,
I had to.
Turkey boy.
Holy, well, this is a G-rated. Well, PG.
Well, you know what? It's not really G. It's PG. I try. Listen, if you
I'll throw the S-bomb in.
Right, if you can say shit, because you know what? That's what we all do. We are human beings. But
and that's what just happened to me. I just got shit on by my Mac.
Okay. Well, listen, that's I hate to say this, my friend. That's where you went wrong, regardless of what Mooch tells you. But
I agree 100%. I moved to my laptop, and all of a sudden it works.
Listen, I wanted what we're talking about. You're right in the nick of time, because Hyena Den just knocked it out of the park with his ideology for the games coming out in 2019. Now, I'm going to go over the list real quick. Let me just say this: 2018. Fantastic year in gaming, right? Everyone is, everyone, and I mean everyone, is playing Red Dead Redemption 2 in one form or another, except for PC people who went out and bought an Xbox One X. Welcome to the family. Come here. Uncle Boom is going to give you a hug and a nice bowl of spaghetti. Okay, we're good. Okay, but you know what? I don't want you to be out of the loop, so I'm going to read, folks. Just bear with me. We were talking about the games coming out in 2019. I'm going to give you the quick list. Okay, so you can make your opinion on how expensive and what you're going to do to be able to afford all these games, and should we be excited? Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story, New Super Mario Brothers Wii U Deluxe Edition, Tales of Vesperia, Onimusha Warlords, Ace Combat 7, Travis Strikes Again, No More Heroes, Resident Evil 2, my game of the year, Kingdom Hearts 3. That's January. February, we got Trials Rising, Dead or Alive 6, Jump Force, which looks dope, Anthem, Crackdown, Metro Exodus, Anno 1800 for the PC, and Left Alive for the PS4. March, we have Devil May Cry 5, The Division 2, and The Sinking City, as well as Sergio Shadows Die Twice. Then you have Days Gone and Team Sonic Racing. This year is expensive. 2019 looks to be an expensive year, but more importantly, one of the best years could be in gaming. What are your takeaways on that amount of knowledge for games in next year's lineup?
Well, I mean, it's basically like opening up with a Derek Jeter as your leadoff hitter. Yikes. You know what I mean? The balls are just going to get put in play. You've got fantastic things opening up. I'm not going to sit here and lie to anybody. I'm not the biggest Nintendo fanboy, but absolutely, Smash Brothers. Come on, it's almost like Mario Kart. It's the kind of game you definitely want to get involved with. You definitely want to have some friends over and just break some balls and have a good time. teasing each other while you jump around this crazy world. You know what I mean? It's almost like Mario Kart. Mario Kart, come on. I remember, come on, everybody got drunk and played Mario Kart in their 20s. You know what I mean? Seriously,
There
so
might be people doing that in their 40s. Come on, let's be
I was going to say it's not like
let's be realistic here.
Let's be real. You know what I mean? I mean, I'll be 46 at the end of this month, and I'll be drunk next year playing the Mario Kart. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean the list, like you rattled off that list. The Division 2, I think, is going to be big.
Yeah, K-Meg is happy with that. So am I. So is my brother Neil Melville. We're all excited.
I think the Division 2 is going to be big because they really, really shored up the Division 1. I know it had that stigma. Oh yeah, it was fun for a week. It's like, yeah, so what? So was the 6th grade. You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, the Division 2 is going to knock it out of the park. I think they're really going to really just. Almost the way Destiny 2 improved on Destiny and got people to be like, hey, wait a second, they got something here. I think the Division 2 will. Sekiro, was it Sekiro?
Shadows died twice.
Shadows died twice.
I
mean, come on.
Yeah.
I just think those guys, they made the Dark Souls games. So number one, I think the game's going to be punishing, which I don't mind. I don't mind a punishing game. I love its mechanics, with this it's almost like feudal Japan, but somehow this guy made out of bamboo a makeshift robot arm. Beautiful. Love it. You know what I mean? Can grapple with it.
It was like when we were kids growing up, Saturday morning, right? That's what you got on TV.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic. I loved it. You know what I mean? There's so many things coming out. It's funny. There's been numerous rumors I've heard throughout the community from different podcasts about Crackdown 3's multiplayer now possibly living up to expectation.
Yeah, it's been almost pretty much confirmed that the destructibility is in there.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
so I gotta say,
like I said, there's gonna be a lot of crow being served up tomorrow when we actually see this up and running and we see this 5v5 destructible playground. When we talk about Xbots and we say ponies and then dorks or whatever you want to call them, they're the dark side of the community that none of us like to be involved with because they're nasty and no one likes that. But I'm going to say this. If there are a lot of PlayStation players who own a PS4 who enjoy the console, and I say good on you. But they went out last weekend. Kay, you saw it. I saw you tweeting about it. All of these people with I had to convert, Red Dead Redemption made me do it, and they went out and bought X's. Well, these same folks are probably going to be playing Crackdown 3 because it's an exclusive, and now they have a console. And if they get involved in Game Pass, well, now it's free. And you're right, G-Man. It's Crackdown 3 is going to be bigger than people are giving it credit for. And I'm very excited. But, I don't want to hang too long on this topic. I want to move on to the next one. But before I get there, I have to give a giant shout out for many reasons. Aiden Williams in the chat. First and foremost, he's a big fan, and I appreciate his unbelievable support that he shows me and the channel. He also just dropped a $20 super chat. So, dude, thank you so much for that. He says, hey, brother, love your content. Keep up the awesome work. There are so many amazing games to play in Red Dead Redemption 2. The Witcher 3 are a tie for games of the generation. These are both better than Breath of the Wild. He's talking about Zelda. And it's a great time to be a gamer. Absolutely, dude. Again, real quick, Michael Johnson in the chat with the $2 super chat. Dude, thank you very much. Every dollar counts. He says Sergio Shadows Died Twice is already his game of the year. Listen, there's nothing wrong with calling your game of the year before you play it. I did it with God of War, and the only reason why God of War isn't still in that spot is because of how incredible Odyssey is. But let's move on to the next topic. And here's the thing. And K-Mega, you run a show, so you understand this. Mm-hmm. As a fan of gaming, when you're putting these shows together, you have a little bit of bias in there, right? Because when a story breaks of a game that you dig, like for instance, if you were going to talk Division, you would make sure it's the best story because why? Division is one of your favorite games. If a big fighting game is coming out and you have info, you're going to make sure that's probably your first or your second. You know what I'm saying? Topic, so, because you're a fan. Well, I did something where everyone that knows me knows that I'm a huge, and I mean ridiculously big, Titanfall fan. And we have some possible information that Titanfall 3 could release at the end of 2019. The real question is, which Titanfall is it going to be? Is it going to be a mobile one? I don't think so. Respawn is apparently in production of 3 titles. We know one of them as being a Star Wars game. It's called The Jedi Fallen Order, which is probably going to be dope. But supposedly, they are working on the 3rd Titanfall, as well as possibly a Titanfall VR game. Now, I'm going to say this. If the Titanfall VR game comes out, hopefully it releases for the PlayStation VR, which I support. I'm buying it day one. But I think that the world is ready for a Titanfall 3. And Zampella himself spoke to GameSpot about Titanfall before, admitting that Titanfall 2 sales should have been better. And you know what? It's not the game's fault. It's the idiots at marketing who put this game between Call of Duty and Battlefield 1. A real blunder of a move. I would have just delayed it. Yeah, it shocked me. And I knew the game was going to fail. But here, before I ask my question to the panel, I have to throw the sales numbers out there to prove my point on what I'm about to say. Okay? I'm going to read the question, I'm going to read my numbers, and I'm going to get your answer. The question I have for the panel is this. Are you hyped for a new Titanfall? And should the series go back to being an Xbox One X or an Xbox One exclusive to take full advantage of the Xbox One X? And before you answer the question, let me read the sales numbers here. Because you know what? Like Salty, my gaming partner on Wednesdays, where we do our other live show, Gaming News at Noon with Salty and Boom, and of course, as it is a shameless plug. Here are the numbers. Titanfall 1, which was an Xbox One exclusive, sold, folks, not shipped, and I double and triple checked this shit, between 10 and 11 million copies, and I think it's safe to say it would be considered a mega success. Titanfall 2, horribly placed, we know that already, between the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, sold between 4 and 5 million copies. So
wow.
So again, numbers don't lie, folks. I'm going to say this, and again, everyone knows that I enjoy my PlayStation. I enjoy my PlayStation VR. PlayStation players, unless it's a Call of Duty game, don't give a shit about shooters. That is the truth. K-Mega, I got to go to you. The question is, are you hyped for Titanfall 3? And because of what I just said regarding the numbers, should Microsoft make a deal and say, guess what? Come to our console. You guys made money last time.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for them for Microsoft to get to get the exclusive rights again, but it's with EA now, and EA has done some questionable things, of course, just like what you was alluding to in the beginning of talking about this topic of kind of cannibalizing itself by putting in 3 different games at once, and then Titanfall to a new audience of PlayStation gamers. They chose the other 2 games, plus you had COD that was in there, which also hurt Titanfall. And Titanfall 2, even though it didn't feel anything like Titanfall 1 multiplayer-wise,
right,
the story was absolutely amazing. It kind of started off a little slow, but then once it started really picking up, it really was a really well-written story, and it was better than COD story. It was on par with what Battlefield was doing. So it was one of those, and I think in Star Wars at the time didn't even have a story. So it was one of those things where you had a good game that lost out because of so much other games that had a lot of potential. So it's like maintain the story, and because when you having this situation where it's talking about VR, I think that there'll be another. I think the PlayStation will have the marketing rights. And it's really unfortunate because you're right. PlayStation fans didn't go out and clamor. They dogged us out saying, "Oh, Xbox lost this, blah blah blah." But the fact of it is that nobody went out there and supported that game like they did the first one, and this could be another situation if there are other big titles that's coming down, especially shooters at the end of next year. That could actually might hurt it, but hopefully EA is going to be smart this time and not have anything else, because we already got Battlefield 5. I don't think that they're going to be doing another Star Wars. If they are, then that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But Titanfall hopefully should be placed where it needs to be as a centerpiece title, big budget title that should get everybody's recognition. So it's one of those things where I wish Xbox would go ahead and get the marketing rights to it, but I think somehow, because you said the VR, that's gonna probably have PlayStation be at the forefront of advertising that game, and we'll just have to see how it does in the public.
Absolutely. You know what? The Don is in the chat, so thank you for that, dude. He says Titanfall Battle Royale. You know what, dude? I gotta be honest with you. If it's just mechs, like a big Robotech battle that I used to watch in the 80s, then I'm down for that shit, because man, I would definitely like to see maybe 12 on 12, 15 v 15 of just mechs. No stupid people. We don't want the people. We want to crush them. Well, with just mechs, we're good. Hyena Den, I want to go to you on this, dude. Titanfall, I'm going to say this. Every year it's come out, it's been my game of the year. I have Titanfall will always have a special place in my heart for a lot of reasons. And K-Mega hit it out of the park. The story in Titanfall 2, phenomenal. Single player, absolutely stunning. The multiplayer, it was good, but it wasn't great. And locking the weapons into a particular mech, not my thing. I like the other, the original design where you pick the mech and you were able to customize that mech to the best of your ability, which I did. So I'd like to see them just take 1 and 2, the best of 1, the best of 2, merge it to 3, and we got a winner. But what are your takeaways on the possibility of a Titanfall 3, and are you excited for one?
So I've actually never played. I played Titanfall 1 briefly.
Okay.
And I'm actually a huge mech fan. So I liked playing games like Mech Assault and stuff like that way back when. I think the prospect of a new Titanfall would be awesome for those that want the game. And I know there's a lot of people out there that are really excited to hear this news because they're just big Titanfall fans. I do think it's unfortunate what happened to the Titanfall series. With one, it shattered its own records that EA probably even thought that it wouldn't even be able to achieve. Titanfall 2, as you just said, not a lot of people supported the game, and then that's very unfortunate, because it could lead to the entire franchise just being killed off. And the one thing that I'm worried about with Titanfall 3 is if EA doesn't learn from their mistakes and ends up putting it in a place where it doesn't belong. Right. I think the launch of in somewhere in the spring maybe might really help that game.
Yeah, good point, dude.
And yeah, it's just I really do hope that the room that a Titanfall 3 is going to come out next year for those that want it, and I do hope that they really don't put it where it doesn't belong, because I fear if they do, and if the sales numbers repeat like the second title did or worse, that might be it for the entire franchise.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great point, dude. That's a really good point. I'm hoping that we don't end the story of Titanfall 2 without a conclusion, because it was really wide open for a massive sequel. I know that I've read numerous articles that Respawn has in the works already the script and everything ready to go for Titanfall 3. So they know that where they want to go with it. I think that the marketing just has to be better. It has to be smarter. I mean, this is a business, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we talk about it, oh, my game and my system, my plastic box is better than yours and you suck and whatever. But these are all these companies, it's really about the money, and I just, it's my God, I'm not a business guy. Like, right, I was a flatfoot, right? I walked around for 21 years, and and before that, I was a blue collar guy in construction. So I don't really have a degree that says business 101, but I have common sense, and I'm just kind of wondering what happened back then. But G-Man, I want to go to you next, dude. Titanfall 3 in production. I've heard rumors of this. I have nothing. I don't have insiders like a Crap Gamer or like a Randall Thor. I mean, these guys actually know real insiders. I'm starting to gather some. I do have some from the community that constantly give me great stuff. Old School G is one of them. D Black Raven's another. Quite a few other people. But what are your takeaways? Are you excited for a Titanfall 3? And do you think that the series deserves a third one?
Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely on board with the Titanfall 3. I want to piggyback real quick off something I heard Hyena say. I believe you mentioned possibly putting it back into a spring release.
Yeah.
Remember, the first Titanfall came out in, I think, April of 2014.
Yep, sure did.
So there you go. There's your spring window. Moving it from that window was absolutely asinine, especially looking at what they squeezed it in between. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, you don't put anything between the peanut butter and the jelly on the sandwich. So I don't understand why they tried to force this in between.
And it was their own games, no less.
I know, seriously. Yes. Like, what were you doing? It's like, hey, we've got so much to sell you. Well, I'm sorry. Majority of us working class people are gamers. And like I said, working class, I'm not getting the huge tax cuts. You know what I'm saying? I still got to go to work and pay taxes, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. I really am psyched for another Titanfall. I loved what they did with Titanfall 2 story. Now, yes, I do have the same complaints on the multiplayer. Come on, man. Just all you have to do is move that multiplayer back. Give us our loadouts, all the freedom to choose loadouts with our Titans. You know what I mean? Instead of tying them to one particular one, that was stupid. It was almost like they wanted you not to use the Titans too much. Well, guess what? We got enough shooters where the purpose is to run around as a human being. I want the Titan.
Right.
The Don said, like Battle Royale. Yes, I agree with you, Boom. Battle Royale. Everybody drops in a Titan, and that's it. I want destructibility, everything. You know what I mean? Just smash stuff. That's what I want for Titanfall 3.
You know what? That's great. I mean, listen, everyone's excited, but you know what? I have breaking news, literally breaking news. And of course, the Don has once again, I have to kiss this ring next time I see him because this is great. Live on my show, he said, and I quote, he could 100%, not 90, not 99, 100% confirm it's in development. So guess what, folks? We're getting a Titanfall 3, and I'm freaking stoked. But you know what?
Double Barrel Gaming just broke the news.
Yeah. Well, listen. You know what? I got to do something other than break people's balls, right? So it's so that's good. Okay, but you know what? Let's move on to topic number 3. Now, I'm a little salty about this one. I talked about it on the Brat podcast on Wednesday evening, which was. Man, Enrique has an amazing panel. Every one of those dudes are just funny as all hell and legit. Follow them. Go on YouTube. Get to the Brat podcast. Subscribe. Listen to that show. It's one of my personal favorites. And to be on there, unbelievable. And we talked a little bit about this, but I want to break it down. BlizzCon happened last weekend, and if you're a gamer. And I said this on Brap, BlizzCon has a ring of relevance when you talk about gaming. You say E3, it's gaming. You say Gamescom, it's gaming. Paris Game Week, PSX, XO18. When you say that, you think of gaming. Well, guess what, folks? When you talk about Blizzard, you think BlizzCon, right? That's what at least I do. And something happened at BlizzCon. And I'm basically going to be a little raw here. They took their pants down and went above the rafters and shit all over the audience. That's what they did because they had the balls, the audacity, the damn right nastiness, if you will, to unveil to the world Diablo Immortal for mobile. Okay, now here's the thing. Okay, Diablo is a series that is probably the bread and butter of that company. You can say whatever you want about all their other titles, but when you talk about Diablo, you talk about classic gaming, finding a way to still be relevant in 2018. How do I know that's possible? Well, Diablo 3 just launched on the Nintendo Switch, which PS, by the way, looks effing amazing. And Ganondorf is a character skin that you can play. And how dope is that? So they now, and I'm going to reiterate, if you heard me on BRAP, I'm going to sound like a record. I apologize. Mega, you said something in the beginning about going to E3. And I kind of just want to touch on that for a second. Going to these events, folks, if you've never done it, costs paper. Okay? It's expensive. To be a fan is expensive. And a lot of people who were on one side of the coast flew all the way to the other side of the coast. That's a $500 plane ticket back and forth. Let's not talk about tickets to get into BlizzCon. Let's not talk about actually eating something outside of a pretzel, right? Or a warm bottle of Coke that you're going to get at that horrible event, right? But you have all these monies. You're a fan of Blizzard. Heck, you might have even dressed up as an elf with red hair. Okay? And if you did, good on you, because I cosplayed last year as a division agent for New York Comic Con, and I'm not going to front. I look dope, and I put the pictures out there. So you spend all of this monies to go to this event. There have been rumors that yes, Diablo 4 is going to be announced. It has been confirmed by Kotaku that there was an actual video that was pulled back at the last minute. Didn't show gameplay, but showed the developer talking about the game, which I think a lot of gamers would be interested to know. And instead, they closed the show. Didn't open the show, didn't midway through the show. They closed the show with a reskin of a pre-existent mobile game that's being developed not by Blizzard, but by a Chinese company, a fourth or fifth party company. And that's how they treat their fans. Listen, K-Meg, I got to go to you on this because I can talk about this for a month because I'm pissed. Okay. Right. Was this not the biggest slap in the face to that community?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was, yeah, no, it was, you know what I'm saying? You was being a little nasty this morning, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's getting started because they did shit on everybody, man. I just, that's exactly what I thought about when I heard about the situation with Diablo at BlizzCon, is that I spent my hard-earned money. Everything, and if it's, and I don't know where BlizzCon is. It's in LA, isn't it?
I believe so. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, LA is $6 for water, for just water. So yeah, LA is not cheap. That $6 damn for water. I'll just take a water. That's $6, please. What? $6? It's free in Oklahoma. What the hell y'all got out here anyway? So regardless, it was kind of like, so yeah, I felt bad for those people, and this was something that I alluded to in a video. It's just that, look, I mean, you can tell this was publisher driven. I mean, we're talking about Activision here, and and we'll talk about Activision again here later on. But it's one of the things is that we understand that they want money. This is all about money. Games cost a lot of money, and the cost is going to keep going up. They're going to try to find every way possible to try to make money. So I'm not upset about the fact that they've made Diablo immortal. For mobile gamers out there. And there's one thing that I really found out that was pretty crazy was that there are some hardcore gamers that likes to play on mobile. And there's mobile gamers that just play only mobile. They don't want to play a console. They don't want to play PC. They don't want to play that. They just want to play on mobile. And I thought that was really weird because I was reading a lot of comments and there was all this stuff. If you go really deep and search, there are some diehard mobile fans that even go after the PC because there's so many more mobile phones out there. And I seen exactly what the whole point of it was of bringing the game, but you don't show that trailer, get people hype, and then have it in small writing only for mobile. and then say good night.
Good night, everybody. Yeah,
you don't do that, and it made the developers look bad because they're talking about that they had the guy to come out and say, well, we did work on something and we were going to talk about it, when they did in their own blog a couple of, I think 2 weeks beforehand, saying that they wouldn't be talking about anything of Diablo 4.
Right.
So again, you look bad by trying.
You're confusing your game. You're confusing your gamers.
Right. And also, you have to look at for the fans out there as well, is that, okay, if you paid attention, if you're a diehard for Diablo, then you should have been paying attention to that blog, because it's just like with any other situation. When Xbox says, we're not going to talk about this on Inside Xbox, we're not going to talk about this, it's not going to be at E3, but people still get upset about it. That's just because you hired your expectations way higher than what and they're trying to temper them down for you, and you just didn't pay attention to it. So that was one factor. But to go back and to say, look, well, we were going to do it. No, you messed up. You know what I'm saying? You screwed the pooch, Jack. The only thing you need to do is eat crow and learn from this and apologize to the fan base, instead of trying to say, well, hey, people play mobile too. I thought everybody has a cell phone. That shit right there will get you. Will make you lose your hardcore. We understand that you're trying to go for another type of audience, mostly casual, because we know that casuals are the ones that propel games over the top. I mean, just look at Spider-Man. We know that there was a diehard contingency out there that wanted to play Spider-Man, but it was the casuals that made that game be successful as it was. And we get that as gamers, what we're supposed to, but you do not exclude the hardcore. You just don't do that. And having people come out there and pay money and everything like that, that's absolutely disgusting. And I'm pretty sure that it's going to hurt them down the line some kind of way, unless they hurry up and show something or say something about Diablo 4.
Yeah, dude, great points. I just want to point out in the chat, Chief Nagel says, or do something like the Coalition did. If you're going to show something that's geared for that's not there for the fan base, what did they do? They showed Pop, right? They showed the Gears Tactics, which I'm very excited for.
Exactly.
And then what did they show? Then they showed Gears 5. Everyone in the audience, everyone watching on their TV.
I was sitting right there. Yes, I was sitting right there, Boom, and I was like, don't you walk off stage, Ryford. Don't you dare walk off stage. Showing
everyone
Everyone. Don't you do that. And then they did that. Even if they did a Diablo 2 remaster.
Yeah, I thought they were doing the first one, but go ahead, yes.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say that even if they did that, that would have softened the blow a hell of a lot more than to just walk off on the mobile game.
Sorry to cut you off there, Kay. You can soften the blow. I mean, Diablo 2 is like considered one of the stalwarts of PC gaming. If they had done a remaster of Diablo 2, they could have sold you. They could have sold you anything on mobile. They could have created their own phone line. That, you know what I mean? And just here's a flip phone. You know what I mean? Everybody, oh yeah, Diablo made their own phone line. We're getting Diablo 2 remade.
Right.
Are you kidding?
Right. No, I do. Great point. I'm going to get you in a second, dude. But I want to go to Hyena Den next on this, because I know that you were chomping at the bit to jump in here. First of all, as a fan of gaming, the one big no I think every publisher that should know anyway, at least their marketing department, is not to discount or seem like you don't care to your players. And that's what it's, I mean, I was a little vulgar, and I apologize for that, but as a fan of the series, as someone that was looking forward to this information, I felt dumped on. What were your takeaways on this?
Yeah, like as you said, you can't separate your two bases, right? If you're going to cover one, you have to cover both. Because nobody wants to feel left out, right? And I think that was Blizzard's big mistake here with unveiling Diablo Immortal for mobile. I have nothing against mobile games. Like it's definitely not for me, but I don't crap on anybody that enjoys, what they enjoy.
Right.
And when it comes to Diablo Immortal, them only unveiling it for mobile, it was a blunder. If they had said, hey, we're working on, or Diablo 4 is in development right now as we speak, and then they, talked about Diablo Immortal, I don't think people would be as upset. We've seen this before with I think it was Valve with Artifact, because they thought they were getting a completely different game when in fact they were getting a mobile game. In that instance, if they had said, yeah, here's this other game that everybody wants, and then you have Artifact alongside of it, people would have been perfectly fine. Like, case in point with what you just talked about at E3 at Microsoft's event with Gears Pop and Gears Tactics. People, for the most part, weren't hurt by the news because they know that Gears 5 is in development, and that's something that they can look forward to for the future. If the either two come to the Xbox or whatever, then that's perfectly fine. Yeah, a lot of these corporations, sometimes I think it's a case of, it's definitely a case of bad marketing, but I think that it's the higher ups at the corporation, the CEOs and whatnot, that are running the events and not the actual developers. Like, there's somebody there at Activision Blizzard that thought this was a good idea when like everybody knew it wasn't going to be a good idea. And I think those are the type of people that they don't have the gamers in their best interest. Obviously, it comes down to the bottom dollar for corporations like EA and Activision Blizzard. And unfortunately, they're the ones who are running that event. So they have no idea what either of their player bases actually want. Not just the hardcore or the casual. But a mixture of both. And it's unfortunate. It really is.
Yeah, it's a shame, because that's if you're a fan of that company, that's their E3, right? Yeah. G-Man, you made up a good point, and I see that you had to jump in here. You're on mute. I'm not sure. Okay, so you're back. Oh, excellent. You mentioned if they had announced a Diablo 2 remake, then the world would have erupted like they just announced Diablo 4. I want you to stress to the audience that are listening how important an announcement like that would have been, and how that could have saved this conference.
Look, I'll be honest. Look, I've always been a console guy. I think my first console, going back even further, you're talking, like I said, I'm 2 years younger than you. I started out on Pong consoles in the 70s, bugging my two older brothers to let me play. You know what I mean? And we eventually got a Sega Master System in like '86. I wasn't a Nintendo guy. I went Sega because the whole neighborhood was Nintendo. But moving on, in the '90s, I did get to do a lot of PC gaming, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm telling you, Diablo 2 was just, the first Diablo, I still have a very rare copy that a lot of people don't realize. The first Diablo came out for the original PlayStation. It was console released. And I still have a copy of that, but Diablo 2 never was console released. It was PC only. And telling you, man, it's just phenomenal. There are people that still play it to this day. They're still playing Diablo 2. That's how important that game was to PC gaming and gaming in general. So if you had announced like, yeah, we've redone Diablo 2 with 2018 graphics. Are you kidding me? There would have been children born at that press conference. Seriously, I'm serious. If not born, consummated. You know what I mean? It would have just been. It would have been unbelievable. You could have gotten away with anything. You know what I mean? You could have left a bag of dung underneath everyone's seat. They'd have been like, "It stinks in here," but we got Diablo 2. We got Diablo 2. You know what I mean? It would have been absolutely incredible. Now, my opinion on the whole thing. Number one, I'm a gamer, been a gamer. You're in 40 years. I'm like 39 years in when it comes to gaming. Look, dude, the bottom line is there is no doubt it's a very entitled community at certain. It
is. You're right about that. Yes.
You know what I mean? It is. Come on, a little bit self-entitled. It's like, wait a second. It's still a business, folks. People still need to pay bills, and guess what? This is still the home of capitalism. Nobody goes into business to make ends meet. They go into business to become filthy rich.
Yeah.
Okay. So when people are like, "Oh, they got these microtransactions out of my game," dude, I would charge everyone a quarter to say my name if I could. You know what I mean? I'm serious, dude. I would. I'd do it. You know what I mean? So give me a break with that crap. The point is this: you had people, some of these Diablo fans, going to BlizzCon. They bought plane tickets. They paid for a hotel room.
Yeah.
They got tickets to the convention. And you basically, your big thing is a mobile game. Now, yes, there are some hardcore gamers that play mobile. Me, I think I've played 2 phone games in my life. It's not interesting to me. I don't like it. My phone is a tool. It's not a toy for me.
Right.
But that's me. And from the forums that I post
I think that's a lot of older gamers as well.
Yeah.
I think there's a big demographic. I would like to see a consensus between younger gamers with mobile and older gamers with mobile, because I think it's just a cultural thing.
I think you're absolutely right. I don't doubt that at all. I know I post a lot at a certain forum that has to do with systems and wars, and not to give anybody a plug here, but what do you call it? And we always talk about it every once in a while. It's like phone games. Nobody wants to talk about them on this forum. And I guess maybe you're right, K-Mega. Maybe it's because we're a lot of us, at least the people I groove with on that forum, we're old gamers. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit about phone games. That's the fact of the matter is, if I'm sitting in that audience and I'm a Diablo fan since Diablo 1 or Diablo 2, and your big announcement is Diablo on mobile, come on. You just urinated on my popcorn. What's going on here? This is awful.
And it's not butter, man.
No, that's my point. Just because it's yellow and fucking liquid doesn't make it popcorn. Excuse my French. Doesn't make it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it doesn't make it butter. It's like, come on, man, don't do this to me. So I totally understand where they came from. The defensiveness in the responses. Hey, what's the matter? What, you guys don't have phones? No, we do have phones. We don't want to play a game on phones. We want a real Diablo game. It was a shit show for Blizz. It really was.
It's probably the worst in the history of that event, and that's
absolutely
bad. That's bad. But great. Everyone had great points on this. I don't want to spend too much time because, like I said, it's been talked to death. I want to talk about something that is exciting for fans. Telltale's The Walking Dead episode 3 and 4. More info is coming soon. And as a fan of the series, I'm very happy that Robert Kirkman stepped in when he did. Being the creator of the Walking Dead franchise and a master storyteller, I believe the unresolved story arc was bothering him and needed to be finished. And of course, we're talking about Clementine's story arc. So Skybound Games, if you're not familiar, is a company that's run by Robert Kirkman. He owns that company. And he says that the studio will have more information on The Walking Dead, the final season, the last 2 episodes, very soon in a tweet. And I want to just read it. And there's not a lot here, but I just want to read it anyway. It says, "We know you have lots of questions about Telltale's The Walking Dead. Thank you for all of your patience. We are asking you to stay tuned while we finalize all of the details. Info on episode 3 and 4 to come soon." Now, if you're unfamiliar with this story, and some people might be, Skybound Games took over the development of Telltale's game, The Walking Dead, the final season, back in October, following a string of major layoffs for that company that basically reduced the studio to a fraction of its former size, and eventually it went belly up. And many gamers, including myself, who have been with Clementine since she was hanging out in a treehouse, were devastated that we were never going to get the proper ending. K-Meg, I want to go to you on this. Listen, Telltale's games, they're not for everyone, okay? Sometimes they're a little twitchy. Sometimes your save gets corrupted. There are they've had some issues, but at the end of the day, this particular story, this Walking Dead story, with Clementine, seeing her from literally a 6-year-old to almost a semi-adult, if that would not have been finished, to me anyway, as a fan, would have been a travesty of justice. What are your takeaways on Robert Kirkman himself stepping in to make sure the fans have closure to her story.
No, I think it's a wonderful thing. I think that's a positive out of the whole situation with Telltale,
right?
Because the way that they did their employees, the way that they did the people that pre-ordered that game, and I was about to pre-order because The Walking Dead was what got me into even Telltale games. So to hear about it and to see people like, my boy 100, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to him. He pre-ordered it, and then these and a couple other people, Lady Infamous, they all pre-ordered it.
I did too.
And then you left people in limbo. That also definitely hurts people to ever want to think about pre-ordering a game again. For one reason, just because you never know what could happen in the future, and then just for the mere fact that you knew that people were anticipating this. This was like your biggest Telltale game. I think this is actually their biggest title to that they've ever had. So again, to just shut the doors and say, hey, look, you're done. Sorry, everybody. This is just business. That was heartbreaking. I really felt bad for anybody that pre-ordered for it, and then also just for the fans of that series. So it's really good that people stepped in. They were willing to do it, take the time out, and also dudes trying to save face and bring this story to the climax that it deserves. It's really cool that they put a human element to it by being aware that people really care about this series, and then just also the fact that people spent their hard-earned money on this. And so, kudos to them for that, for making up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very happy. And just so people know, the Walking Dead creator Robert Kirkman said during this New York's Comic-Con that just passed, Skybound had negotiated with Telltale to make sure that they can continue developing season 4 of the game, and of course, that is going to be the last part of this story. I don't know if they're going to continue. I'm assuming that if sales numbers show that people are still interested, Skybound could continue her story, or possibly just tell someone else's story, which would be interesting. Hyena, I want to go to you on this. K-Mega mentioned something about the human factor, and I think that was a fantastic point, that at the end of the day, I feel bad for the employees. Of course, we all do, because no one wants to see anyone lose a job. And if you do, you're an animal, because people have mouths to feed, rents to pay, car payments, Con Ed, cable, right? They want to, the bills. So you have to have a job. But at the same time, the fans really got the short end of the stick. And to see Robert Kirkman really take this to heart, like, he was really bothered by this. And he was out front and very public about, hey, hold on, the world isn't over. We're going to try and fix this. For them to do that, that's a big deal. What are your takeaways from this?
Well, I want to say first and foremost that I am not a fan of games like Telltale games and Telltale in general. Like, it's just not my style of game. So I feel I'm partly at fault for these type of games not doing very well on like the MPD charts and stuff like that. Because when it comes to Telltale games, or like games like Soma or Until Dawn, Detroit Become Human, any of those games, they're all eerily similar to one another. And if I'm trying to get the same experience as somebody else with a story, I have no inclination to even purchase the game, because I can get the same story as everybody else. And that's one of the downfalls of how these games kind of play out. So I'm definitely at fault for these games not doing very well. But at the end of the day, regardless, it's not about me here, right? It's about the fans that do enjoy that do enjoy Telltale games. And I think the fans at least deserve some sort of closure here with the series.
Especially if you've been like a person like myself who has followed her story, because this is what it is. It's her story across numerous iterations of the franchise. To not have closure, I think, would have been really crummy.
Yeah, it sucks for it sucks for a lot of people involved in this. Obviously, the people, that have lost their jobs working, from one end to the other on the series. For I'm not going to say for the publishers because they're probably just rolling in money right now. Um, and the fans as well, right? And I do hope that there is some closure for the fans and the people that have lost their jobs. Right, regardless if I'm not a fan of the series or not, some people out there like it, and they at least deserve the closure that they want.
You know what? But you really hit it on the head, dude. And you know what? You said it. Okay, I'm not a fan, but at the same time, I still want to see the people that actually enjoy it get what they paid for, and that's
Right.
super cool. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. G-Man, before I get to you, I got to pay the bills. Caboose V42 with the magnificent $25 super chat, dude. I don't even know what to say. I mean, the generosity that this particular young man has shown me has been nothing short of reducing me to tears. Because, a lot of people don't know this. I don't work, right? I'm a retired dude, but when you only get a check once a month, and my check isn't bad, but, it's limited. I used to be an overtime guy, and I mean, I used to kill them in overtime. I'm talking about the New York City Police Department, because if you didn't know, I was a police officer. We're not all dicks. There are plenty of good guys out there. I'm one of them. I grew up in the projects as a kid, went back to that same community and spent 20 years there, going back and taking care of the kids of that same community. So there are plenty of stories like mine. But these super chats help the channel grow. And I honestly cannot thank you enough for that. But G-Man, I want to go to you on this. When the studio closed, if we're going to look back at 2018, we're going to look back at some really uplifting stories in gaming, games that came out, stories that came out, that you're going to be excited about. But there is always a light and dark side to everything. And this year, in my opinion, besides, when we're talking about gaming, not real life, folks, because this particular year has been horrendous with mass shootings and stuff. One just happened, as a matter of fact. But in gaming, this is probably the darkest time we've seen, because it was so out of the blue. So many people lost their jobs, and you saw people suing, people upset. But for Skybound to step in, and Robert Kirkman more specifically, because that dude cares about his franchise and about the fans, for him to say, okay, folks, my company is going to finish this. Let me get the particulars. I'll get back to you. And sure enough, he did. What are your takeaways from his character coming out and saving not only the face of his franchise, but the fans that actually paid for the game?
Just before I answer that, I just want to back up what you said, because good friends of mine I grew up, Dave Michelina, my friend John, my friend Peter, all police officers here in New York City, just great guys. Just really, any kind of narrative about police officers being dicks. Look, some of them make the wrong dicks, but I think it's a real small minority. I think most of them just really work
it's
hard.
any profession, to be honest.
Yeah, any profession, exactly. You get what are you kidding me? I was in the Army. I'm a disabled veteran. Like, are you kidding me? You think I didn't know dicks in the Army? Come on, most of them are officers. You know what I mean? But the guys in power are usually the ones that are jerks. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on. What this guy did with to help out, to help get The Walking Dead finished, it just, to me, it speaks to how much he cares about his property. You know what I mean? Because this is the creator, was it not?
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, the guy obviously is hands-on. He loves his own property. It's like, wait a second now, come on. You just can't let it end after episode 2. You know what I mean? You had to do it. Now, I'm not going to lie. Telltale Games, now that first Walking Dead season, I was all over it like everybody. I think it was up for Game of the Year when it first came out. That first Walking Dead season one.
It certainly was, indeed.
You know what I mean? It took everybody by storm. It was like, okay, this is incredible storytelling in a video game sense. As far as Telltale Games, I mean, come on, dude. You know, much like Guitar Hero or you know, dude, they just beat the dead horse until the horse was, you know, was basically a puddle of mud. You know what I mean? I mean, it branched out too many places. I did enjoy the Batman season 1. I didn't play Batman season 2. I didn't play all the Walking Deads, but I'm happy for the fans. You guys, nobody wants it left like that. Nobody wants anything left like that. You know what I mean? You gotta have your conclusion. And I respect that when somebody loves his property that much, where he's like, no. We got to get this done. Maybe we're not going to make a dime off it. Maybe if we're lucky, maybe we're going to break even. He said, but we're going to get it done because people care. And he cares then. And I think that's fantastic. And, you know, that's where who said it earlier? Who just said that? You know, the publishers are probably making money. There's nothing artistic about publishing a game. There isn't. What do? They, you know, what
they
are they
sign
doing?
Checks. That's what they do.
They sign checks and they make deals for advertising. That's all they do. They're like film distributors. You know, Warner Brothers Film Distribution. That's all they do is distribute the film. They're not the director. They're not the writer. They're not the actors. You know what I mean? It's you know, there's no artisticness to that side of it. You know what I mean?
That's just the business part of it. Sure.
Yeah. So I'm very happy for him. He loves his property that much, and I'm happy for the fans that they get to see their resolution to this. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's great points from everybody. You know, and again, I no one. Okay, if you're new, like, and I see a lot of new faces here. If you're kind of sitting back in your chair or in your car or at work and you're like, wow, these topics, no one's really talking about it. I start working on these shows a week in advance because I, as a creator, just like Robert Kirkman, even though he's rich and I'm poor, I care about and respect the time that you take to listen to my show. And I understand that I'm not always going to be talking about what podcast 1, 2, 3, and 4 were talking about because you've heard it already. So that's why I thought this was an interesting topic. But you know what? I have to talk about something. I know, K Mega, you've been playing the shit out of Red Dead Redemption 2. I saw that video that you put up. I literally just got to that part this morning. That was something out of like the Hateful Eight. You know, it just was a very menacing. Those guys riding out there to the front of that mansion, totally dope. But I don't want to talk about the game per se. I have to talk about records being broken. Okay, and breaking news, folks: Red Dead Redemption 2 sold well, so well that they sold, not shipped, sold 17 million copies in 8 days. And why that's significant, forget the number for a second. Forget the number, okay? There's a couple of things I want to talk about before getting your guys' opinion on this. First of all, it took Red Dead Redemption 1 8 years to sell 17 million copies, and that in itself is an unbelievable record. But more importantly than that, in 8 days in 2018, it has become the best-selling game in the entire year. K-Mega, I have to talk to you because I know you've been putting in those hours, putting in that work, riding the horse, making sure that he or she doesn't die, taking care of your crew. How impressive, how unbelievable is a number like that to be out there for us to talk about today?
Oh man, it's astounding. I mean, it just shows the power of Rockstar and what they can do with their franchises. I mean, this is a game that, if you look at it objectively, or if you just observe it, that there was a whole generation that did not even play the first Red Dead, and of course you got some of the previous consoles, or you played the first Red Dead on backwards compat. So again, you know, big kudos for Microsoft for thinking about, you know, saying the gamer on that aspect, but just to think about just where this game has gone, and this is a prequel, no less. So it still gives you, so like if you never played the first one, you can sink your teeth in this one and then jump straight into the first one And I think that sales numbers for the first one might bump up as well, because this game is so good. It's amazing what they did with this, and for the records to be broken like it has, it just shows that Rockstar is the king. I mean, people can talk about Santa Monica, they can talk about the developers of Uncharted and everything else, but there is only one, and that is Rockstar. They know how to make a great quality game, and they and the people, the gamers out there, they chose. This is great. I mean, this is really great. I mean, I like really good games to get the recognition that they get, man. I mean, it's warranted and it's due.
You know what? You really knocked it out of the park. You really just knocked it out of the park. It is, there are certain times in gaming where you're gonna see and bear witness to a phenomenon. It could be a genre. Perfect example, Battle Royale, right? I mean, look at what PUBG did, and they're kind of sliding off. But look at what something like Fortnite did. That game was in development hell for 6 or 7 years. It was originally a base building zombie game, and look at it now. It just posted I think a $1.4 billion dollar profit with a B, folks, not an M, a B. So we've been witness to phenomenons. No, please continue, brother.
No, I just wanted to say one more thing though. I will say, for me, and this is just my opinion, Red Dead is the Red Dead and the Witcher, as I always call it. It was kind of early in the morning. I can't say it as I usually can, but that was pretty crackly. I was like, anyway. So it was. The Witcher are definitely the games of the generation so far. I mean, God of War could definitely be in that topic. God of War is great, but surefire those two. But I still think that Cyberpunk 2077 will be on current consoles, and I think I think that we can't just hand it over to Rockstar yet. But damn sure Rockstar knows how to make games. They're on a whole nother level, and then I put CD Projekt Red right behind them.
I agree.
They both know how to make great games, open world games.
I'm gonna say this, dude. First of all, fantastic point. And you know what? We don't know what Cyberpunk is going to sell. I have a very, very suspicious feeling that those numbers are going to be matched. Cyberpunk, as great as Red Dead is, as big as a phenomenon as it is, I think Cyberpunk does have that possibility of equaling these numbers. I can't say they're going to pass, because we still have a couple of months left of 2018. This could break all kinds of records. But Hyena, I want to go to you on this. First of all, 17 million copies sold in 8 days it's just when you try to actually sit back in your chair and think about how many people went out and bought this in 8 days across the planet, it actually staggers your brain. What are your takeaways on this? And does this prove that Rockstar is one of the most notable developers and most respected developers in the entire industry?
Yeah, 17 million in 8 days is extremely impressive. I definitely hold Rockstar up to the top developers out there on the face of this planet, and a lot of people do view them the same way as well. I mean, it's in their name, for heaven's sake. They're called Rockstar. They're Rockstar.
That's right.
It really is impressive to see 17 million in 8 days. I'm very curious to see where this goes. I want to see the milestones a month from now, 2 months from now, at the end of the year, even, and especially next gen, because I do think, they're going to get, some sort of remaster reports to next gen consoles. And for anybody that didn't, take the dive this gen with Red Dead Redemption 2, we'll definitely see it next gen with more people as well. So I obviously the sales can only go up from here. The one thing that has me interested about, a lot of the money that Rockstar makes, whether it's with Grand Theft Auto 5 or Red Dead 2 now, it makes me wonder exactly how many, if they could actually start, because I don't want to see them rest on their laurels and just come out with another Grand Theft Auto, right? Or another Red Dead. I want to see them work on multiple projects at the same time, because I know they have the staff for it. You know, they have well over, it's like 1,000+ people that work at their
big company.
And they definitely have the money to put into multiple projects, right? Rockstar San Diego assists on a lot of different games, and Red Dead Redemption 2 was one of them. You know, so I'm hoping that they can crank out multiple projects. You know, we're hearing Bully 2, right?
Yes.
Awesome to see. I'm still hoping and praying. It's been like 10 years now since the last Midnight Club game came out.
Wow.
Back in 2008, and Rockstar San Diego did that. You know, so I'm hoping with all of the success that, you know, Rockstar is getting right now, I do hope that in return it doesn't mean them resting on their laurels with, you know, just more sequels of said, you know, successful games, and it means that they can start working on multiple projects at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with you. There have been really heavy rumors of Bully 2 quite possibly in development, but I don't think we're going to hear anything for quite a while, because right now they're enjoying what they're seeing. They obviously still have not launched the multiplayer aspect of it, so we know that's coming supposedly at the end of November. So they still have to do that. So there's work to be done. But G-Man, this is 17 million in 8 days. You know, when you talk about a game that only came to 2 platforms, and I say only 2 because, you know, obviously the PlayStation, they're just they're the juggernaut of this generation. But, you know, like a lot of people, like K-Mega, I know he talked about it before, I believe on one of your shows. It, you know, the Xbox One X proved that not only is it's the best system, but Rockstar showed that they are not willing to hold back their development, you know, prowess, if you will, and they put out the best version on the Xbox One X that is they don't have the marketing rights to. So that's balls to the wall in itself. But the number of copies sold, and again, Black Friday is still 2 weeks away. I think that because you're going to get a little bit of a dip into sale. It's Black Friday. Everything's going to be on sale. Hell, toilet paper is going to be on sale, right? But gaming, electronics are big during Black Friday. And this is probably going to go on sale, especially during bundles. How crazy could the number possibly be by January 1st, 2019? What are your takeaways on this?
Wow. Hold on, I just lost you, Boom.
You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys hear me, right?
Yes. Yep. Just fine.
You know, I was getting deja vu again, man. What do you call it? All right, so you know, let's put things into perspective. 17 million copies, and we're just going to be conservative and say $60 a copy. Does anybody realize that's $1.02 billion made already in 8 days? In 8 days, okay,
right.
That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Well, I love Rockstar games. I just love them. Because I remember after GTA 5 come out in 2013, I was still at Fort Sill in Oklahoma, and I remember seeing an interview with one of the heads from what do you call it, Rockstar Games, and I remember like one of them, you know, the woman from was interviewing him, and she said she was like, you know, don't you think like, you know, you guys could actually like, you know, put out a GTA in a different city like once every other year, or even yearly, like Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed are doing. Think about how much money. And he said no. He said it wouldn't be GTA then. Utmost respect.
I remember that interview. I do.
Guys. I have the utmost respect for these guys. They're like, no, it would water down our product. You know, it's no. The whole purpose is, look at them. They don't have to show up to game conferences. Come on, they don't have to do anything. At E3, your Gamescom, they don't go anywhere. People just wait with bated breath for them to drop morsels on the internet. They run this industry. From a game development standpoint, they are exactly that. To piggyback off everyone else, they are the rock stars. I really think the only thing close to them now is CD Projekt Red is starting to edge up there.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? You got The Witcher 3, and I love The Witcher 2, and I enjoyed The Witcher 1 back in 2007 on PC. They slowly built themselves into this studio that could just wow, each game they're blowing people away. So they're matching Red Dead Redemption. I mean, they're matching, not matching, but they're up there. They're creating something as notable as Rockstar Games as far as quality. And just like Rockstar, they're like, look, it's ready when it's ready, man. We're not going to anybody. We're not going to do it. We're putting out our product at the quality we want, and that's it. This is it, buddy. $1 billion in 8 days says so.
Yeah, absolutely. That's an exclamation point. And obviously, Take-Two stockholders are all toasting champaign and eating caviar because.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
I'm one of them.
Well, listen, good on you for that, dude. That's smart.
Yep. Yeah.
Well,
I always tell people, look, real quick. I always tell people, anybody ever seen the movie Boiler Room? It's an okay movie, but I did that from 93 to 96. I was a Series 7 registered stockbroker, lived in Long Island on Long Island Sound with 2 other brokers, and good times and bad times. But I tell anybody that wants to get into investing, find something you're passionate about, invest in those companies, because you're not going to even want to look at it unless you really like it. And I invest in game companies. I own stock in Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, Take-Two Interactive. I own stock in quite a few of them, and I'm telling you right now,
Microsoft did an amazing jump in the last couple of years.
Yes,
so,
they have.
Yes, dude, they had never sold. They had never traded above the 40s because they always ran and split.
Right.
And now look at them, pushing $90, $100 a share.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm into stocks. I'm just now getting into stocks myself, but yeah, that was one of the things. A testament. Big shout out to Delilah HD because she's huge in the stocks and things of that nature. And so,
nice. The three of us got to talk. Absolutely, But I'm telling you, it's just Take-Two Interactive has always been something I played. Especially around a release. You buy them 3 to 4 months before something releases, and then you hold it through Christmas of that year. And I'm telling you, you make money. Sorry, we're off on a tangent.
No, listen, this is real. Listen, gaming and real life go hand in hand. But you know what? We were talking about
gaming.
Yeah. Absolutely right, Game Mega.
Old man gaming.
Oh man, yeah. Well, listen, as we were talking about a company making money hand over fist and doing so well, I have to segue into a company not doing so well. Activision not happy with Destiny 2, and this isn't good. This article was pulled from Kotaku, and this is what they had to say. Sales for Destiny 2 Forsaken have not lived up to Activision's expectation, the publisher said today on an earnings call, promising investors a faster content model and new forms of monetization for the game. This comes at a time when the Destiny fan base is very happy with the way the game is, but this is where it gets strange. This new information raises questions about the future of everyone's favorite looter shooter treadmill franchise. Now, this news shouldn't be much of a surprise to anyone who's been basically paying attention recently. Last week, Activision started giving away the PC version of Destiny 2 for free until November 18th. So you still have some time, folks. If you want Destiny 2 for free on the on your PC, just go get it and it's yours. This, in my opinion, is a sign of weak sales of the franchise. And Kotaku says we have not yet seen the full core re-engagement in Destiny, said Activision COO Cody Johnson, which has led to the underperformance against expectations to date. Now, listen, everyone on this panel, everyone that's in the chat right now, know that Activision, they're money whores and they're dirty players. And what shocks me is that I mean, maybe I'm not a stock guy, but I think it's safe to say that Destiny 2 sold pretty well. I'm pretty sure the Forsaken DLC sold pretty well. What's shocking to me is that when you start to hear things like this, you start to not worry about Activision. They're always going to be around. What I start to worry about as a gamer is, remember, Bungie signed a 10-year, $500 million deal with them. So they basically left Microsoft because they didn't want to be controlled, made a deal with El Diablo himself, and now they're stuck, right? Here is the question that I want to ask the panel. Could this possible, very public now, change with the way they're going to do microtransaction hurt the franchise even further and make basically no one excited for Destiny 3? K-Meg, I want to go to you on this. When you know, obviously this generation, there are a couple of things that we're all going to remember, and microtransactions became a filthy word. Basically right along with the F-bombs and everything else. And hearing this saying, hearing the investors call talk about, well, don't worry, investors, we're going to go out of our way to make more money for you faster. What does that say you? What for your confidence for Destiny 3? What does that tell you?
It tells me that that's in trouble.
Yes,
for a lot of reasons. Me and the Don was having a conversation about this, and they're almost up. They're almost up on their 10-year contract. If you really think about it, for the start of the development of Destiny, into you're looking at Destiny 3 will look like to be the last one. It's one of those situations where I think that they see the writing on the wall, Activision, and I think that Bungie is probably had their fill of Activision. This is one thing I never understood. Everybody has this deep disdain for EA, but nobody really goes after Activision for their purposes. They keep buying their games, and look, they make their money. I mean, when you just look at what their quarterly earnings, and you look at some of the all-time best-selling games out of the last decade, it's COD, or it's Overwatch, or it's something else that has Activision's name behind it. It's you know what I'm saying? So they know how to make money. It's just with Destiny, it's just more of the same. And I really feel bad for Destiny fans because of the fact that they have this love-hate relationship. One moment everything is great, then they just pull the wool up. I mean, they just pull the rug right up under them and say, we're going to give you more DLC, but you're going to have to pay for it. How much more money did you have to pay into this damn game? Like, I mean, it seems like it would have been a lot better for them to have a subscription service, kind of like how Oblivion is. You know what I'm saying? Because that to me, you would have your diehards, you would have the people that would stay on there, and I think that they would alleviate a lot of those issues that they've been having, instead of having all these updates and patches, and then you have to go buy something else. And this version wasn't good, but the next version will be good. If you had a paid subscription, then I think people would actually. I think that probably with that they probably might get exposed because Bungie is trying to do things right on one end, and then there's a whole other contingency that's pissed off and wants them to go back to this, and it's a big mess, man. And then on top of that, to make matters worse, you have Anthem. A lot of people are really excited about Anthem.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, I am too. You have The Division. You have all these other games. So you're going to have more games that's going to be like Destiny and try to take over that spot. And by that time, when Destiny 3 comes, there'll still be a hardcore base, but will it be the same as it was when they first started? Because Destiny 1 made a whole bunch of money. They made most of their $500 million back. I think it was within, like, they did record sales, broke all types of records in 2014. Mm-hmm. Got like 500 million of that in a day. So they've got their money back. it's just like their greed, Activision's greed. They want to just keep those. They just want to put a chokehold on gamers and just keep them flushing out money. And I think at the end, by the time the Destiny 3 comes out, there'll be some serious fatigue because everybody else is going to be doing something different and better.
Yeah, well, dude, that's a great point. But you know what? I have to once again shout out the Don in the chat, and he brings more knowledge to this show. He says the Forsaken DLC did not sell well. The active user base right now currently is close to 2 million, down from 12 million, right around the consoles iteration. So wow, I mean,
just make that point for me. Like I said, there's a Destiny fatigue going, and it's just like we talked about at the very beginning of the show. There's so many games that's coming out that's got a lot of people's attention. We didn't even really talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. Yes. That's a game that I'm looking forward to.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many other games that's available that people rather spend their money on instead of keep paying more for DLC. And by the time that you look at it, for a diehard Destiny fan, how much money did you invest into the Destiny? Hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and you're asking for another 60 plus, or I should say $100 plus.
It's going to be $100 because they're going to have the deluxe edition.
Right, and you're still going to have to pay for an additional some DLC. So I feel bad for those guys. I mean, I'm just glad that Destiny just wasn't one of those games that I felt that I had to just play and keep continuing to play because, like I said, the fatigue is going to happen, and as Don just alluded to, it's already starting to happen.
Yeah. Well, listen, great point, dude. Hyena, I got to go to you. I know you're chomping at the bit to jump in here. And I know when you heard it dropped from 12 million players at launch to 2 million players now, you kind of like, holy shit.
Yeah,
are you
that's
kidding
insane.
Me? That's a massive drop. What do you think? K-Mega keeps mentioning fatigue, but I just think that it is fatigue, yes, but it's also people are just getting sick of Activision.
Yeah, that's definitely a very probable thing right there. Activision and EA are just everybody. I don't think there's many people on this planet that actually enjoy them or their practices, and you can see it through their games like Destiny, and like K-Mega just said. People spent a lot of money on this franchise, not just for the second game, but for the first game as well. And my dad is definitely one of those people where he's definitely gotten pissed off at everything that they've been doing with Destiny 2 over the last, I would say, year or so. Where it's just something else has come out. I have to pay another $40 for this, and it's just it's really insane. I don't think I'd ever be able to get into Destiny. I played the demo of the first game way back when, and I don't know if it's an Activision thing by itself. I think it's a bunch. Like I don't know why. I don't think I like Bungie as a developer because I was never into Halo.
Okay.
And when I heard that Bungie's starting to make a new game, and they revealed what it is, which was very simple. They left Microsoft because of their, they restricted their creative freedom and went with Activision, right? Like you said, they sold to El Diablo himself.
They made the same similar type of game.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
I don't know. They're doing a lot of wrong things over there. And like I said before, with Telltale and with other topics that we've discussed, I do hope that, the fans at least get what they deserve, because they've been doing some real shitty stuff over there at Activision, from, the Diablo stuff to now more Destiny, woes to everything else.
Black eyes, man. Not good.
It is not good.
Not a good look.
Well, listen, just like wow.
Yeah, well, listen, great point, Hyena. That I mean, listen, I don't think you or K-Mega could be any more concise on exactly your feelings of the company and the mistakes they're making. But I want to close out this topic with, of course, G-Man. Obviously, I don't know if you play Destiny. I'm not sure if you do, but this ideology of if your game sucks, just add microtransactions to it is not the way you fix a game, and they are potentially boxing out the fan base as well as hurting. I mean, they haven't even announced Destiny 3 and people are already pooping on it. What are your takeaways on this?
Well, I mean, yes, I did play the first Destiny.
Okay.
I kind of, and I bought what was it? There's House of Wolves, there was
Right.
something else, and then the Taken King. And I kind of got by the time I got to the Taken King, which it's a shame because every one of my friends is telling me, "Oh my God, you jumped out at the wrong place." I just got bored of it. I just got bored of it. You know what I mean? And I have Destiny 2. It's just never actually been popped into my Xbox One X yet. And I don't know if it ever will with the Red Dead Redemption 2 going right now. What do I think of it? It's always a bad sign when people are shitting on your next game,
before it's even out.
Before it even comes out. Yeah, I mean, this is a bad sign. It's like, you know what I mean? It's it almost makes you think, wait, no, we didn't say Destiny 3 was mobile. We're sorry. That's not what we said. It's not a mobile game. And because that's the way people are reacting to it. You know what I mean? Look, we all know Bungie makes a great shooter. They're that's the only real takeaway from the original release form of Destiny 1 was the fact that shooting mechanics are always tight. You know what I mean? It just I don't know. You're exactly right. Pumping microtransactions in is not going to help anyone like a game anymore.
Right.
As far as, the other thing is like, when they say, oh, Destiny 2 didn't live up to expectations, what you got to remember is I remember Star Wars Battlefront 2. Oh, it didn't hit the expected high mark. Yeah. It still sold 8 million copies. It just didn't hit the 11 million they thought it would. You know what I mean? That's still a lot of money. You know what I mean? Destiny 2 didn't hit, projections. Great. That doesn't mean it lost them money. It just means it didn't keep the profit margin where they want it to be. Got to remember, a company is in profit the minute they have more money than they spent to make something. They are now in profit. Okay.
Right.
But people want a profit margin. I want my profit margin to be 75% more than what I spent to make it. That's your profit margin. So you know what I mean? It's like, wait a second. A lot of companies just, if you had 100% profit margin on Destiny 2 projected, but you came in at 75% profit margin, guess what? It didn't meet projections.
Right.
Guess you're still in profit though.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're still making money.
People get the wrong idea when they hear, oh, investors are going to be really pissed off. Investors are going to be this. Look, as long as the stock didn't go down, investors are not upset. They're not. When the stock goes down, that's when investors start getting upset, period. You know what I mean? So what do I make of it? I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of this whole marriage between Bungie and Activision, and I haven't since I played the first Destiny. This 10-year, $500 million. For me, at least, I'd be like $500 million over 10 years. No, you better double that. You want 10 years of my time, knowing the money I made and the name I have after the Halo series? No, I needed $1 billion.
Right.
I
think they were just in a rush to get away from Microsoft, dude. And
it's a shame.
That's really what wound up happening. But
it's a shame because, in all honesty, I don't think they've ever been as liked as well since they.
Yes.
Destiny came.
Yep. But there's one thing I think that everybody's missed out on is that it was the Don Matrick era when Bungie left.
Yeah, that's true too. Because Donnie
very
D,
good point, Kay. Very good point, Kay.
Donnie D, not so smart.
and well, it just and it also just that whole atmosphere. There was so many people it just seemed nobody I don't think knew at the time that Don Matrick was going to just bounce out the way he did and leave Xbox in this crazy position.
Limbo.
So then they probably didn't have that much confidence in Phil. They probably didn't have confidence into the new CEO. And so they were just looking like maybe Xbox, and then they hearing the rumors that Xbox was probably going to get sold off because this new CEO, he was all about cutting budgets and saving money and everything in between. So now they're looking and seeing how it's thriving. I'm pretty sure that they probably want to be independent anyway, but they're probably looking like, damn, we probably could have just held off a little bit and maybe could have been in greener pastures, because Activision, to me, they're the worst company
Yeah, they're definitely
Let me just-
the worst company by far.
Let me just say this, piggybacking off that. You're absolutely right, K Mega. You know, a lot of people don't realize Microsoft was a corporate to corporate business for majority of its lifetime. It really was. You know, and I remember saying this to a couple friends, and they're like, "What are you talking about? I always got Windows with my computer." Yeah, you got it with your computer. That's because Microsoft cut deals with Hewlett Packard and Dell to have Windows shipped with your computer. They didn't call you and say, "Hey, would you like to buy Windows from us?" No, they didn't do that. They were a corporate to corporate business structure, and that atmosphere in that company carried over into everything. It was like they didn't know how to deal with the public. They didn't know how to deal with the public. This is an advantage Sony has over Microsoft. Sony is an entertainment company. They've been involved in music and movies for decades. So gaming is just another entertainment form, whereas Microsoft just got involved into the retail space in 2001 with the Xbox. They've slowly had to learn, no, you have to have a different personality when dealing with the public than you do in a boardroom dealing with another company's CEO and board of directors. It's a different world, and that's where Donnie Matrick failed. I mean, come on, the famous quote: "We have a product for you." No, that you don't say that to the mom and pop buyer. You don't do that. That's something you can say to the CEO of Hewlett Packard. "We have a product for you too. It's called Windows 7 if you don't want Windows 10. You know, you can say shit like that. You know, you can't do that, you know? And so thank God Microsoft has slowly but surely, as K Mega was saying, you know, Satya Nadella has slowly started to make the transition. Look at the Surface tablet sells well. Like they've broken into being a retail company as well as a corporate company. And I think that, come on, tomorrow's XO, and it's just getting brighter and brighter.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, listen, you know what? Everyone had fantastic points, and you know what? We're closing in on 2 hours. We started a little late, so we're gonna go 5 minutes more. So the last 15 minutes of the show, I think, are important. And why is that? Well, XO 18 is tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be a great show if you're an Xbox gamer. But more importantly, I think if you're a gamer, remember that, folks, a gamer, you just like video games, whether it's on the mobile, whether it's on PC, whether you're a PlayStation guy or an Xbox gal, or you like a Nintendo, it doesn't matter. This is a big event, and it could propel Microsoft well into 2019 and beyond with what they're going to show. You know, this is being described as a global celebration of all things Xbox. And according to a tweet from Microsoft, they said XO 18 will be broadcast live with news and first looks. You know what? Phil Spencer, you know, a lot of people forget this on the Xbox show that everyone hates, said live that first party was going to be leading the charge and that third party would be there in a big way. That excites me. Crackdown 3, seeing the destructible environment, finally getting to see that game up close and personal, that excites me. But you know what? We don't care what Boom says, right? Because I've talked about it on yesterday's The Xbox Factor podcast, shameless plug. I want to know what the panel thinks. And K-Mega, I want you to close out this show in a big way. I want you to tell me why this is important for Microsoft, but what you want to see as an Xbox fan.
Well, I mean, we just talked about it just in the last topic, and that was giving what the fans wanted. That's becoming more transparent, letting the public, having the right people to deal with this entity, which is, gamers and the Xbox and the whole community, and bringing something that people have been asking for years. Just like they brought inside Xbox, there were people that were saying, "Hey, why are you supporting Zelda and Horizon Zero Dawn, but not over here supporting Halo Wars 2? I mean, we need some kind of event. We need this." This is exactly the perfect thank you for the supporters of Xbox, the Xbox supporter. This is it. This is it for us. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I mean, we've been asking for this, and what makes this such a positive going in a positive direction for Xbox is because there is no other competition to have their conference as well. Xbox can blow the doors off and lead in. This will be the first time this generation that Xbox can go in a high note into 2019 and have positive momentum. So again, all the things is placed perfectly. All you got to do is just give us one hell of a show. And the one thing that one reason why I feel that this show is going to be electric is because it's the same way as E3 was. There has not been anything. It's been very quiet. We've heard everybody's been saying all different types of rumors, speculations, and a lot of us was wrong. They killed us. There was nothing, but they excited the hell out of us. And the only thing that I feel that that could be that only thing that we do know for certain is that Crackdown 3 is going to get shown.
Yes,
and then we'll see some third parties there. But to me, for it to be a really great show, for me to just say, hey, look, they killed it, they knocked it out the park, show that they got Obsidian, show this supposedly rumor that that part's not a rumor. They're going to have somebody from Ninja Theory coming out there on the stage. Could be showing a new a project that they're working on. Show that, and then make sure that Crackdown's multiplayer and that game is polished and ready to go. That's it. That's all for me. That's all I need. All the rest is just sweet.
It's just gravy
and yeah, sweet candy and with caramel. I'm with it. So you know what I'm saying? I when people say that their expectations is high, I mean it's tampered. They don't want to. They're nervous. They want to do that. That to me, that's the most stupidest excuse ever. If you're excited for the show, you're fucking excited for the show.
Thank you,
you know what I'm saying?
very much.
You know what I'm saying? And I hear that from so many people that I appreciate, that I have a lot of respect for. But when they say, "Oh, please don't suck," "Oh man, I'm not going to get excited for it because I don't want to go for the letdown," then obviously you're expecting somebody to let it down for you, because the haters is going to be right there to talk shit about anything that Xbox does.
Right.
Regardless, if Crackdown does well, it looks fantastic. What's going to be the next thing that's going to be said? Oh, that game's not going to sell, or it's a multi-plat because it's going to be on PC. You're going to hear hate regardless.
Yeah.
So,
Preach.
So just be excited, because if you're a gamer like me, just be excited that they're showing some new shit, and they're going to be showing more content and stuff that we're looking forward to. So that's why I'm mostly excited, and I think everybody else should be too.
Excellent. Well, listen, dude, you know what? You can hear in your voice you're excited. You're a fan, and that's dope. And I think that's what separates us from the rest of the mules. Hyena, I want to go to you on this. This is going to be a big show. K-Mega mentioned it. I'm going to say it again. The cancellation of PSX 2018 has basically opened the door for Microsoft to say, we are now here. Hear me roar. And take it or just leave the dance. First of all, are you excited for the conference? And do you think that Microsoft has the potential to literally shock the gaming world?
Absolutely. Like I've said before, if you don't shoot for the stars, you're going to land on a rock. And you have to. I think something that's important for EXO. The important word of the day for EXO specifically is opportunity. And like you said, they canceled PSX. They barely. I don't even think they had a present at Paris Games Week or whatever. I know they were at TGS. EXO right now for Microsoft is all about opportunity. Whether they take it or not is going to be completely up to them. And for me, a lot of the stuff that I want to see is stuff that we should see, because we've heard stuff left and right, like with from Aurora 44 and whoever is the publisher for Aurora 44 that does Ashen. We keep hearing that game's going to come out. It's still slated for the end of 20. Exactly. Yes. Same thing with Below. Same thing with a lot of different games, right? And it's like, if you're going to show something of these games, I personally want to see release dates for Ashen,
Yes.
for Below, because I've been waiting for these games for literally years now.
Yes. Yes.
Again, going back to, important word of the day for EXO, opportunity. They do have the potential to knock everybody's socks off and just announce some wild things left and right. With Ninja Theory, this is the best place for them to show a roadmap for their consumers, for the fans of Xbox. Whether you're playing on Xbox or PC, whatever. I know you're all Xbox fans to Microsoft, right? They have the opportunity to show us a roadmap for next year and possibly the year after that. If they don't show something from Ninja Theory, I think that would be a huge blunder, because I know that they're close to releasing anyways. I'm not gonna say that I am tempering my expectations, because I'm not. I do think that when it comes to EXO and Microsoft, a lot of people are worried that they're not going to take the opportunity that is literally landed right in their laps. This is like the perfect storm for them to cook up something, and just wow everybody. And I do think that they're going to put on a good show. I genuinely believe that. You said that, in Major Nelson's blog, that they talked about first party leading the charge and a third party being there in a big way. If you've looked at past EXO events, I've documented an entire manuscript on several EXO events. They've had huge third party announcements back then.
They sure have. From
BioShock to Mass Effect to all sorts of wild things. I think that I think it's going to be no different here, honestly. Like with the rumor, not even rumored, it was leaked online a few months ago. The Harry Potter RPG game by Warner Brothers.
Oh yeah, that'd be good to bring up on stage.
That game literally looks like it's done.
It does.
There's no reason why they cannot show that off at EXO. Right. Same thing with Ninja Theory's project. They're nearly done. There's no reason why they can't. Whether they do is an entirely different question, and we will see tomorrow.
Nice. Well, listen, dude, great points. And last but certainly not least, G-Man, the jerky boy. EXO is going to be big. And I'm not saying that it has the potential. It's going to be huge. The world's eyes are on this conference. Everyone is looking to see what Microsoft is going to do. What are your thoughts on this, and how big could this be for the platform?
My thoughts are basically the same as Henry V. Cry havoc. Let's
the dogs of war.
No, that's actually Julius Caesar. I got my Shakespeare mixed up there. But in all seriousness, I agree. I agree with both of these gentlemen previously. There is no reason to not be excited. When people, I'm afraid to get excited. I'm afraid. Are you afraid of water too? Do you shower? Come on, get out of here. Get excited. Get excited. Come on, have fun. Look, I'm G-Man. I'm Mr. Vegas. I roll the dice. I'm excited.
Nice.
Number one. Shout out to in the chat. The Indie Gamer called it out. He wants a Splinter Cell. Revealed. I want a Splinter Cell revealed. I want a Splinter Cell revealed as far as third party being represented there. I want a Splinter Cell revealed. Obviously, I want to see Crackdown's multiplayer, because that's what really had me going with Crackdown 3 was the idea of this multiplayer and me just running around with a bunch of you guys just having a great time, going nuts, dropping buildings on people, laughing when buildings get dropped on you. You know what I mean? Just having a good time. Does anybody remember at E3, Phil Spencer even said it, when they were talking about playground games, and they revealed Forza Horizon 4 there, and then he said, and those guys have something else they're working on, and we'll talk more about that later. And obviously it didn't happen at E3. This was the later he's talking about. I
actually want to piggyback off that really fast, and I've said this multiple times in the last month now, that when you talk to whether your friends, coworkers, whatever, when you talk about anybody and you use the word later casually, you do not mean in a year's time. That is not what later means. When you're talking to your friend, you say, "Hey, we'll meet up later." Are you going to meet them up later a year from now? No. Like when Phil Spencer said that, we would talk about what they're working on later. I genuinely do not think it's going to be shown off next year at E3. And a lot of people are getting confused by this because there's a lot of mixed signals between Phil Spencer and Ralph Fulton, head of Playground Games, where Ralph says that it's going to be a long, long time before they even show off their next project. And then Phil, months prior to that said we'd show it off later. And it's like, well which one's it going to be, right? I do think, again, just like with Ninja Theory or like that Harry Potter RPG game, now is the time to do it. You don't have to give people in-depth gameplay. Like, I understand that. Even if, your game doesn't have to be in development to say what they're actually working on, right?
Yeah.
Like you could literally just say, yeah, Playground Game is working on Fable. That's all. If you only did that, people would still walk away happy because it's the closure that people want. It's the confirmation that people have been waiting for years now.
No, I agree 100%. Just, real quick, dude, you could just get somebody you could literally just like, you want to have some fun and throw a little shade, like, you know what I mean? Just open up with some nice, like, string quartet playing and stuff like that. No, serious. And then, all of a sudden you have like some guy dressed like a mage walk into a bedroom and, sitting there is like, like an archer, but he's playing the lute. You know what I mean? He's playing a lute,
right.
or a banjo, almost like a little shade at, remember, all they did for The Last of Us 2, you just got to see Ellie playing a guitar for like 20 seconds, that original teaser. Dude, do something like that. Have a little fun with the industry. You know what I mean? And this way people know, boom, there's something being made. Other companies got to wait. Metroid Prime 4. I'm a Metroid Prime nerd personally.
Me too.
But,
Me too.
You know what I mean? Metroid Prime 4. I just saw letters. I just saw the name come up.
And it worked.
You know what I mean? That's it, bro. Bro, just throw stuff out there. I understand we don't want to announce too soon, yada, 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 this, that. No. Throw teasers out there. Throw the bread in the water to get the fish to come up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get the fish to come up to the surface. Then you can you cast the line in when you really have something. I am psyched for XO tomorrow. I hope I find somebody streaming something. I'll be in the chat with you guys. Just
definitely.
Yeah, I'm gonna be streaming. I'm gonna break that down in a second. Exactly what I'm gonna be doing. But listen, first of all, great point, G-Man. Great point, everybody in the panel. This has been an incredible show. We just passed 2 hours. A big shout out to the chat. You guys played nice, and I say this every show, and I'm going to say it again. For me, as a content creator who puts out live content on a weekly basis, having the chat be a fun place to come and hang out is important to me. So I really appreciate everyone being cool with one another. But I also have to thank my panel and give you the proper shout outs that you deserve. K-Mega, first of all, this is the first time that we've actually work together on this show. I've been on shows with you. I always have a blast. I think that you are a massive personality on the YouTube community. I've been a big before I worked with you, I was a fan. I think what you do on GRG is fantastic. I think what you bring to the next podcast is great. Finally, you get the big W with the winning gameplay. I think that thing is fixed somehow.
Man.
But you know what? Thanks again for coming out. I want you to tell everyone where they can follow you and subscribe to your fantastic work, dude.
Man, I really appreciate it, man. That means a lot. I do this for the love. This isn't for money or for fame. This is just for I'm a gamer, and I know that there's a lot of people that think that I don't. But you know what? This is why we do it. This is why on my week off or so, and I get up, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe you're the West Coast, so it's early by you. Yes.
Oh yeah. So but I love doing it, and it was an honor to be here and to be here with some people that I've talked to on Twitter, but I haven't worked with, and so that's an honor too. So man, I really appreciate it. But yeah, you can find me on my channel, KMega405, man. You know what I'm saying? Go check out my videos. Yeah, we do GRG. We'll be doing it tonight. At 8:30 Central, it's 6:30. It's 6:30 Pacific, and it's
9:30
Eastern. And so we kind of like Crossfire is, as I look at it, is kind of like the Jimmy Fallon. I mean, Jimmy Fallon is, but I look at it like the Jay Leno show, and then we're like the young Jimmy Fallon. We like to toast you off, and we're wild. We like to have fun, not to take we take ourselves seriously, but not that seriously, because we want people to be excited to get back into the gaming and have a good time. So other than that, the next podcast, yes, every Saturday, and then we do BGST. We haven't done BGST in a couple of weeks, but we plan on kicking it back off and being wild with my boy Z and Tim and Crap and all them and Chris Steele. I know Chris Steele don't get enough love. Anyway, so lastly, we will be doing We'll be doing a live show on next podcast for the EXO event.
Nice.
And afterwards on my channel, Next and GRG will be together to do an after show after that. And so, man, I'm going to be busy, and I know all you guys are going to be busy. So, man, there's plenty of stuff to watch and get all types of. Then hopefully that we can all work together sometime. Maybe you guys can come on GRG sometime.
Absolutely, dude.
Or if I need to do GRG Uncut and just have you guys to come on, and we'll just have a damn blast and just do the damn thing, man. Gaming community is great. Love it.
Well, thanks so much again for being here, dude. It's greatly appreciated. G-Man, you had a little bit of technical difficulties coming in. You've been on this show before. I do appreciate you keeping it PG today. Good on you for that. Congratulations. But you know what? We come here to hang out. We come here to, we're blue collar guys. We're both military men. We appreciate one another, but I appreciate you more for coming on today's show, giving your opinion, being honest. You know what, dude? You really are really cool to talk to in the community. You talk with everyone. You wear your opinions on your sleeve. You can't argue with that. And I definitely respect you for what you've done for this country, as well for what you do for the community. Tell everyone where they could follow you on Twitter and to check out your YouTube channel, because yes, you have one.
Yes, I do have a YouTube channel. It's Gman1172. My content has been sporadic, to say the least. I am wrapping up engineering school to become an HVAC engineer in New York State. So that's kind of like what I've been working on a lot with my education benefits post-military. It has been an honor to be on here. As always, Boom, you and I, always great friends. Yes. Hyena, awesome to meet you, dude. Awesome to share a stage with you here. K-Mega, I have enjoyed your content since I got home from the military in like 2014. I started checking out podcasts. I've enjoyed your content since the first time I heard of you, dude. It's so much fun to work with you. Also, as far as that gameplay goes, K-Mega, they've been gerrymandering that competition for right now, bro.
Yeah.
Truck should not win. I'm just saying.
Hey, Don, you hear that? Don, you hear that? We know you're still in here, Don.
Gerrymandering. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes. All
but
votes must count.
Damn right. But you can find me at Soren6611 on Twitter. Halo fans should know who Soren6611 is if they read the extended universe. I had to throw the 11 on the end because somebody beat me to the name. And then, like I said, Gman1172. I'm trying to pop out a couple videos with some Red Dead Redemption 2 video behind it, just with a couple opinions. Yeah. Excellent. All right. Thanks, guys.
Well, listen, great. And listen, last but certainly not least, I have been really a fan of your work since I heard your first predictions video. And I listened to all your other work. You have a couple on your YouTube channel. You did YouTube at one time. You kind of stepped away, but you're back in a big way. I think you're a rising star, not only on YouTube, but in this community. Hyena Den, thank you so much for hanging out today. Your opinions are awesome. I really like the way you handle yourself live on the air. Please tell everyone where they could follow you, and of course, sub your YouTube channel.
Right. Yeah. It's been awesome being a guest on Breakfast with Boom, obviously, and a lot of other awesome guys in the community as well, the TSGP guys too. You guys can find me at Twitter at Hyena Den, capital XBL. And you can also find me on YouTube, obviously, at Hyena Den. And obviously, you'll have to go through the filter, the channel filters and stuff like that. I've been doing more podcasts lately because I'm in the current position of building my computer because I'm learning more stuff about animation and stuff like that, so I can redo my channel over again. So it's gonna take a few weeks to get there, but I'm really looking forward to to expanding out. It's really awesome to be hanging out with everybody on the community. I watch obviously your podcast. I watch K Mega's podcast, Bot's podcast. I spend too many hours each day just watching a lot.
It seems that way, doesn't it?
It does. It's so many hours I put into listening to people's podcasts on here and just supporting everybody. And I know for a fact tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, and the day after that, I'm going to be royally screwed listening to how many podcasts I'm going to have to listen to. It's going to be a huge backlog, but it's going to be awesome. And I can't wait for it.
We definitely appreciate you having you. We appreciate the support, and I think everyone in the community should support you as well. Listen, I get scolded by Mooch, #who's yelling, and even though there's no crossfire tonight, I just want to give you guys the heads up. Please, if you enjoyed today's show, hit the like button. It does let me know that what I'm doing is correct. And I'm going to say this, and I say it at the end of every show. If you are not happy with what I'm bringing to the table, hit the down button, hit that thumbs down button to tell me that I need to do better. Hit me up in a DM, leave a message, say, boom, I didn't like this topic, or I didn't like this segment. Could you do this? I like fan feedback. I respect your time, and your opinions are important to me. And with that said, listen, XO18 is going to be dope. I'm going to be doing a post 60-minute show with, of course, my compadre, my brother from across the pond, the Welsh Gamer, on a special edition. Yes, on a special edition episode of the Xbox Factor podcast. My brother Neo Mental and Joe the Retro Gamer will be joining us for a 4-man 60-minute look at what Microsoft did or did not do. And once again, I want to thank my panel. I want to thank the chat, especially the people that donated. And I will see you next Friday on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom. Have a fantastic weekend and enjoy the shit out of gaming, everyone.
Peace.